Hi, it's Brett, and welcome back to my channel. Um, I have to be honest, guys. I'm struggling today. I'm really struggling today. I'm struggling with what's happening in America right now. And I'm really struggling with this kind of snowball roll into fascism that we're experiencing in real time. And I'm struggling with how little there is to do about it. So one of the reasons I'd planned to make this video anyway, but I was sitting downstairs. It's really overcast. It's about to rain in Los Angeles today. And I was like, you know what? I just have to come on and I need to talk about these books strictly to get out of my head and um, and just talk about some things that I'm excited about, which is here what I'm really to do, which is to talk about a bunch of new releases that are about to come out. I got in some really exciting book mail that I want to share with all of you. So, because I'm really trying to embrace whatever I can at this point, but some days it's really hard and discouraging and frightening to see what's happening and how many people still think that this is wonderful, that we're taking people off the streets and, throwing them in a El Salvador gulag, despite the fact that they haven't done anything. Um, there's so much. But anyway, let's talk about some exciting book mail. All right. I'm just going to go through these. I hope you'll get excited about them too. A lot of these aren't out yet. So you can also consider this kind of an early preview of some really cool things. This is out right now, which is the new Marie-Helene Bertino book, Exit Zero, which is a series of short stories. And thank you to FSG for these. It says delightfully strange, haunting stories from the oracular author. Oracular? Oracular. Oracular. As like an oracle? How about I just say from the author of Beautyland? I'm really excited about this. I, was late to the Beautyland game and read it this year and loved it so much. So I'm excited for this. Next is Susan Choi's Flashlight, which is one of my most anticipated books of the year. And again, thank you to FSG for this. A major new novel from the National Book Award winner Susan Choi. Flashlight spans decades and continents in a spellbinding investigation of loss, memory, and the ways in which we are shaped by what we cannot see. Her father, it was understood, had slipped and fallen off the breakwater and drowned. Louisa had been found unconscious on the shore. Her father, his body had not been found at all. Shock explained Louisa's ending up without remembering how on the sand. It's a bit of a chunker too. It's coming in at about 450 pages. So this one comes out June 3rd, but I'm really looking forward to reading this. A debut. We love a debut. The Slip by Lucas Schaeffer. This is for readers of Jonathan Franzen and Nathan Hill, both of whom I love. Comes a haymaker of an American novel about a missing teenage boy, cases of fluid and mistaken identity, and the transformative power of boxing. So I don't know. I'm hearing really great things about this. Again, almost 500 pages. I'm giving you big books in this preview. So this comes out also June 3rd. This could almost be like a June preview, I guess. But really looking forward to this. Okay, then Miss a year doesn't go by that I publish everything. Joyce Carol Oates, Fox. I was really, really excited to get this the other day in the mail, and thank you so much to Hogarth Books. Again, this baby clocking in at almost 650 pages. A spellbinding novel of literary and psychological suspense about the dark secrets that surface after the shocking disappearance of a charismatic, mercurial teacher at an elite boarding school. I mean, this sounds so good. It's been a while since I've read anything by Joyce Carol Oates. I'm going to read you this quote from Rebecca Mackay on the back, or this blurb. I can't remember the last time I read something so darkly, disconcertingly addictive that yet bears so much realism and nuance and depth. Oats is a genius in the truest sense of the word, fearing nothing, including radical reinvention, and Fox is, to my mind, her most compelling book in her remarkable career. Well, that is quite the blurb, considering the woman has, so many books. I mean, she and Stephen King are just trying to outdo each other. So, again, really excited for this. This one comes out June 17th. Again, I should have waited and just done a June preview. But there you go. Okay. Fox. That is Fox. Then, okay, I love this cover. I should have led with this because it feels like this is the sentiment for everything right now. It's Not the End of the World by Jonathan Parks Ramage. Do you know this whole time I thought his last name was Rampage? And it's Ramage. Um, anyway, Jonathan wrote this book, Yes, Daddy, a few years ago, which I thought was really dark and really good and totally great kind of thriller mystery. This is a riveting climate thriller, an incisive takedown of the uber wealthy, and a queer family saga that isn't afraid to punch back. It's 2044 and life is bleak for many Americans, but not for Mason Daunt. Safe in his Los Angeles mansion, Mason can remain blissfully unaware of the relentless wildfires engulfing California, the proliferation of violent right-wing militias, and the rampant authoritarianism destroying American society. He's so rich, in fact, that he and his partner, Yoon-ho Kim, are throwing a 100-person, $100,000 baby shower to celebrate their newborn on the way. When a potentially apocalyptic event hits Los Angeles on the day of their celebration, though, the wealthy gay couple refuses to cancel the party. Surely it's not the end of the world. But as Mason runs the last few minute errands, a staggering twist thrusts him into the mounting chaos and threatens the life of everyone he holds dear. So this sounds like a lot of fun and, again, perfect title for right now. This comes out in June as well. I think this is June 15th. And thank you to Bloomsbury for this copy. Then a favorite author of mine, Jess Walters, who wrote Beautiful Ruins, among others, his new book, So Far Gone, this comes out June 25th. From the #1 New York Times bestselling author of Beautiful Ruins, and in the propulsive spirit of Charles Portis's True Grit, comes a hilarious, empathetic, and brilliantly provocative adventure through life in modern America about a reclusive journalist forced back into the world to rescue his kidnapped grandchildren. So yeah, I think this sounds really good. And guys, it's only 256 pages. So at this rate, you'll be able to read this twice by the time you finish one of those other books. But I'm really excited about this one as well. Then one of my other most anticipated of the year, and I was so happy to get this, and I'm going to maybe try to start it this weekend. And I tried to get him for the podcast, but they said he was already full up, which is code for you're not important enough. And that's okay, because I realize. But The Emperor of Gladness by Ocean Vuong, big-hearted novel about chosen family, unexpected friendship, and the stories we tell ourselves in order to survive. So this is basically about a young widow succumbing to dementia and a 19-year-old boy who strike up a friendship. And it's getting shades of Harold and Maude, but I don't think it's anything like that. So I think Ocean's, just like so many people, an extraordinary writer, and I'm really excited to dive into this one. Then another book that I know so many people are waiting to get their hands on, and it's been a hot minute since his last book, which is Wally Lamb, The River is Waiting. Again, I've trying to get Wally Lamb for the podcast as well, and they haven't got back to me yet, so you'll just have to wait and see. But this is about the powerful story of a young family in crisis in the wake of an accident that leads to unthinkable tragedy. Can a grief-stricken husband ever atone for what he's done? Is a heartbroken wife's forgiveness even possible? So it sounds like another lighthearted story from Wally Lamb that will make you feel better about your life. But this one comes out May 6th, coming up soon. Then, another debut author, another big book. This one is for my thriller friends out there. It's called Florida Palms by Joe Pan. It says, this is a great summary at the top. The Outsiders meets Sons of Anarchy in this gripping debut about a group of young men dragged into a drug running operation. It's 2009, the height of the Great Recession. Best friends Eddie and Cue Ball are fresh out of high school and wild at heart, but the economy is in the dumps. With jobs scarce along Florida's Space Coast, they join a furniture moving company run by Cue Ball's father, a gruff ex-con biker who supposedly retired from the fast life. But when a mysterious old boss arrives in town, the payload is switched out and the young men are coerced into shipping a new designer drug up the East Coast. What is advertised as a bastion of brotherhood and respect quickly spirals into back alley deals, bloodshed, and an all-out turf war that will test the bounds of love and friendship. Enticed by larger paychecks and fueled by burgeoning drug habits, the young friends find themselves trapped between rank opportunists, warring gangsters, meth zombies, crazed bikers, and a blowgun-wielding hitman, all vying for a shot at the big time. Soaring, ambitious, and deeply humane, Florida Palms is a gritty coming-of-age story with an enormous heart and an unflinching vision of the violence and inequities facing forgotten communities. In a relentless race against desperate circumstances, the young friends hope to find the escape velocity needed to get out before they end up face down in the muck of an unforgiving swamp. Sounds really good, right? And also sounds like a great movie. Okay, then I got this nonfiction book, which I almost kind of like looked it over like quickly, and then I read the synopsis, and now I'm like, oh my God. It's called Murder in the Dollhouse, the Jennifer Dulos story by Rich Cohen. It's a murder mystery, true crime that's set in the lush hills of Connecticut. Jennifer Dulos was a beautiful, rich suburban mother who dropped her kids off at the New Canaan Country School one morning and vanished. Her body's never been found. Dulos was in the midst of an ugly divorce, or Dulos, one of the most contentious in Connecticut state history. The couple, a highly beautiful, connected pair, met at Brown University, had 5 children, and led what appeared to be a charmed life. In the wake of her disappearance, Dulos' husband and his girlfriend were arrested. He killed himself on the day he was supposed to appear in court. She was tried and convicted of conspiracy to commit murder. A gripping story of status, wealth, love, and hate, Murder in the Dollhouse peers beneath the sparkling veneer of propriety that has surrounded the Duloses to uncover the origins and motivations of a crime that has become a national obsession. I was not part of that national obsession. I never heard about it until this very moment. Maybe you did. But I think this sounds really fascinating. And yeah, I'll let you know. Okay, then by Chris Chibnall, Death at the White Hart, another mystery. Okay, so did any of you ever watch Broadchurch, that series on Netflix? It starred Olivia Colman and a very young Jonathan Bailey. And it was about a very small English town, like on the water, and the son of one of the couples in the town is found dead on the beach. And Olivia Colman is the detective that's brought in to investigate it, and the town is full of secrets. It's fantastic. If you haven't seen it, I would highly recommend it on Netflix. I think it's 2 seasons. Anyway, Chris wrote that, and this is his first book, Death at the White Hart. So it's again a tiny little picturesque town on England's coast, and now there's a crime scene. A man is found dead in the middle of the road. This one comes out June 10th. And thank you to Pamela Dorman Books for this. All right. And then 2 more books that just sound really interesting to me. The first one is coming out in July. I say this one sounds interesting to me, but more than sounds, it looks incredibly interesting. It's called Pan by Michael Clune. I think it's Clune. Maybe it's Clooney. Michael Clune. We're going to go with Clune. It says a strange and brilliant teenager's first panic attacks lead him down the rabbit hole in this wildly, highly anticipated debut novel from one of our most distinctive literary minds. I don't know. This looks so interesting. So should I tell you? I'm going to read it. Nicholas is 15 when he forgets how to breathe. He had plenty of reason to feel unstable already. He's been living with his dad in the bleak Chicago suburbs since his Russian-born mom kicked him out. Then one day in geometry class, Nicholas suddenly realizes that his hands are objects. The doctor says it's just panic, but Nicholas suspects that his real problem might not be a psychiatric one. Maybe the Greek god Pan is trapped inside his body. As his paradigm for his own consciousness crumbles, Nicholas, his best friend Ty, and his maybe girlfriend Sarah hunt for answers why. In Oscar Wilde and in Charles Baudelaire and rock and roll and in Bach and in the mysterious drugged out barn where their classmate Todd's charismatic older brother Ian leads the high schoolers in rituals that might end up breaking more than just the law. Thrilling, cerebral, and startlingly funny, Pan is a new masterpiece of the coming-of-age genre by Guggenheim Fellow and literary scholar Michael Clune, whose memoir of heroin addiction, Whiteout, named one of New Yorker's best books of the year, earned him a cult readership. Now, in Pan, the great novel of our age of anxiety, Clune drops us inside the human psyche, where we risk discovering that the forces controlling our inner lives could be more alien than we want to let ourselves believe. I think it sounds so cool, but I also love this cover. My only thing is, I want to open this cover, and I want the eye holes to be cut out, and I want the face to be on the inside. Okay, and the last book is by Brian Buckbee. It's called We Should All Be Birds. Now, this was sent to me by Tin House, and the publicist at Tin House had said to me, I think you're going to love this. It is a moving memoir about how a man with a mysterious illness saves a pigeon, and the pigeon saves the man. On a spring evening in Montana, Brian Buckbee encounters an injured baby pigeon, heartbroken after the loss of the love of his life and increasingly isolated by a mysterious illness that overtook him while trekking through Asia. Brian is unaware that this bird, who he names Two-Step, will change his life. Brian takes in Two-Step and more injured birds, eventually transforming his home into a madcap bird rehabilitation and rescue center. As Brian and Two-Step grow closer, an unexpected kinship forms, but their paths won't converge forever. As Two-Step heals and finds love, Brian's condition worsens, and with his friend's release back into the world living closer, Brian must decide where this story leaves him. We Should All Be Birds follows Brian, unable to read or write, due to a never-ending headache, as he dictates the end of his old life as an adventurer, iconoclastic university instructor, and endurance athlete through his relationship with a pigeon that comes to define his present. Limited to dictation, Brian teams up with Carol Ann Fitzgerald, an editor who channels the details of his personal history to the pages. Raw and perceptive, delirious and devastating, We Should All Be Birds is an unflinching exploration of chronic illness, grief, connection, and the spectacular beauty of the natural world. And the humble pigeon, the surprising, heartwarming relationship between man and bird, provides insight into what it means to love, to suffer, and to never forget, even for a second, how big it all is. And I leave you with that. Could you imagine the just black? So I think this sounds really good. And I did write back and I was like, this is going to devastate me, isn't it? Like, I'm going to be a sobbing mess. And she's like, oh, but it's so wonderful. So she didn't say no. I'm going to be crying. But I think this sounds fantastic. And this is out August 5th. So put that on your list too. We should all be birds, because then they can fly the fuck away. Okay. So that's what I have for you. That was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 13 books. I shared 13 books with you today, of all of things that were really some really fun book mail. I hope there's things on here you find interesting. I will put all these titles up on my bookshop.org page so you can check them there, and I will list them below because I know it helps if you see them right below. So I will list them there as well. Anyway, I hope all of you are doing okay, hanging in there, and I will see you next week with another 2 episodes of Behind the Stack. And so yeah, I'll see you then.